Okay. Are we still on?
Yeah, we're getting ready to be live.
Okay.
Okay, let me test my, oh my goodness. I've got a big lag here.
Oh, we got a lag?
Yes, let me see what I can do about that.
Okay. I dropped a few bars on Wi-Fi,
Okay.
so that might be it.
Well, and I think it was me because I had too many screens open. So if you are in the chat, I see hi Vivlod. Hi, if you're in there and can see everything, give us a thumbs up. And we are going to just give it a minute here before we get started. Make sure everything is a go.
Okay.
Always toggling. One of these days, I'm going to get it all together. All right, I think
Technology.
it is, we're in a Zoom reality. All right, so my name is Joelle, and this is In the Cards with the Viberarian. I am here to elevate, enlighten, and empower, and I start that journey for myself, and then I share it with you in hopes that you too will be enlightened, elevated, and empowered as well. Now, of course, this show is about cards, oracle cards, divination, tarot, and I love gathering with everyone for this experience. And tonight I have a special guest with me, Roger Larson. Roger, welcome to In the Cards. Hey. Yay. Now, Roger, I interviewed on my show, the Psychic Inside podcast yesterday, and he shared about his journey and some really good food for thought. I tell you what, Roger, like some of the things you said really like pinged across my consciousness like those ripples in the water, okay? And we're very activating. So I appreciated our conversation yesterday.
Yeah, it was nice. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so hi, we've got the usual crew showing up. Hello to the Good Vibe Tribe. We've got some folks out there on the Pacific Northwest and local. The crew has come together and I just so appreciate you. Now, I want to tell everybody the way that I met Roger was at your store that you own in Sedona, Soul Stone Vibrations, you and your wife Vivian. So like, tell us about your store.
We opened a couple years ago during the pandemic or the plandemic. It was 2021. And we just decided to get our own shop because we just felt that so many shops were missing something. And we wanted to bring that in. And she started selling her jewelry, which she'd been working on for, well, since 2015. She started with the Tree of Life pendants. And then she moved on to the infinity bracelets, which is like a triple wrap bracelet that she beads, and then beaded earrings, feathered earrings. And then I was able to create a space so I can do my work with the energy alignments, readings, soul frequency, 5 directions, and a number of other things, which are kind of under the umbrella of the accelerated consciousness.
Yes, yeah. I came in and was with my friend Lala for her birthday, visiting out there, and I had not had a reading. I knew I was supposed to have a message while I was in Sedona, of all places. I knew. I was like, I mean, come on now. I'm going to get some kind of information. And you were like, both of us converged, like we meant to go there. And so we turned the car around and came and went, and I sat with you for a reading, which you did use tarot. And you did a whole lot more as well. But as I learned last night in our conversation, you've been using tarot decks for quite a long time.
Yeah. I started in 95. My first deck was the Osho Zen deck. And I picked it out because of the artistic quality. And I just kind of moved from card deck to card deck after that, because as you grow as a reader, you start to kind of find your own vibe. And then it got to the point where I actually had to create my own decks. So I created the Elder Futhark, which is 24 cards. It's based on the first or the original runic alphabet
Yes.
that was used by the Germanic tribes and the Norse tribes for divination, but also for spelling. And then I created what I call the Elemental Meditation deck, which is 7 elements
Mhm.
of earth, wood, metal, stone, water, fire, and air. And there's
Mm.
7 aspects of each of those cards. And then just because I threw in the Rider Waite deck. And what I do is I have people choose randomly or not through their subconscious
Mhm.
which deck that they feel connected to, and that kind of determines the type of reading they're going to get. Also, with the Osho, or sorry, with the rune deck, uh, I can always tell someone's on a serious soul quest when they pick those. When someone picks the elemental meditation deck, it's more of like they're at a point where it's more introspective, and there's things that they need to contemplate on and really think about. The Rider Waite deck is basically people that, they're, what about a relationship? What about money, job, the day-to-day things.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's really interesting how they kind of align with people and what's going on with them.
Ew.
Bless you.
Ooh, excuse me. Well, it's I didn't see those decks available there. Are they decks that you have available for retail, or you're using
Not
them?
yet. I'm still working
Okay.
on that. It's a lot of it is packaging, the way I want to get them packaged, but I also want to find a printer that actually, because they wear out relatively quick, and I think I need to brighten up a few of them.
Mm.
So right now, these are just decks that I'm using for my own readings.
Okay, well, let me just also tell you, now I get some more pieces falling in place because today in my guidance, I had pulled a deck that I don't often use, which I have so many decks, so the rotation stays pretty fluid, not a lot of
Yeah.
repeats unless something specific. But it was Ascended Masters and Odin showed up. So
Oh
now here
wow.
you are talking about that. And
Yeah.
I was sitting there reading and then having a moment with a mystic Merlinite crystal after that, because one of my previous guests had brought in the connection between Odin and Merlin, and of course, in the guidance that it's the Kyle Gray deck, and he talks about how Odin is the bringer of the runes or the
Yep.
keeper of the ruins themselves. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure you can enlighten, which is why
There's a
he
few
came out
stories.
today on the solstice. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Odin, he wanted to master the runes, and he slept with a giantess, and to get to this mead that she had that was made with the blood of this bard. And yeah, there's some pretty dark stories back then. And he drank it and basically gained all the wisdom of the runes. And
Mhm.
and then he sacrificed his eye to drink from this well, and that gave him deeper understanding of the runes. And he basically wanted to share the runes with everyone. He didn't want them just to be a secret. So he eventually became a master of, the runes and understanding their deeper mysteries. So
It's
that's kind of like
it's
in a
uh
nutshell.
it's interesting. So in the chat, Vivla says today is Odin's day. Oh,
Yep.
so
Woden.
very
Yeah.
okay. Hello. And one of the things that her name was uh, Hera Tula Clark. She's a priestess and author, and she was on the show a couple months ago and was very connected with the Elder and Norse pantheon and energy in her practices. Very earth based practices. And she said that the charge to Odin was until he had the perspective of the feminine, which was what was needed in terms of why, even in the hangman, why like you must change the perspective to be all encompassing. And that is the most oppositional possibility through the perspective of the feminine to change one's view. And just to hear you say about the cup, you know, like the grail or the cup is very feminine, is very water, is seeing things from the emotional perspective versus the masculine analytical perspective. So it's very interesting. And she said Odin is Merlin. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So, you know, there's all kinds of layers of teachings that come out when these presences show up. So I'm kind of excited to see, and I hope that if you have, do you have those cards where you could pull for us a message or
The rune
do
deck,
some?
yeah, this one.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I would love for you to start off the energy to see what messages are here for us for this day.
Okay.
And the particular energetic vortex that we can share with each other. And of course, with anyone who's here, or if you encounter this video later, then it is the right time.
All right, so I'm going to do what I call a 5-card reading. It's a spread that I designed, and it covers what's coming in, what's pulling it in, the path to follow, the end result, and the area of life that it's affecting, and usually in a person's life, but since we're doing it for the solstice, it'll be what specifically is being affected in the for the solstice.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so for the first card, I got Ebo. People pronounce it differently. Sometimes it's Gabo, Gibo. I saw where it's also pronounced Ebo, so that's kind of how I've pronounced it ever since. The second card is Ansu's, and that's one of Odin's cards. Actually, so is Ebo. It's a shared card by Thor and Odin. They were regarded as the gift givers. And Ebo generally means generosity. Depending on who you talk to, there's going to be different interpretations of the runes, but the source that I got mine from means generosity in general. Ansu's, which is Odin's card, it's the card of trials and divine assistance, divine guidance. And then there's Rhytho. Depending on who you talk to, it could be riding, relating to horses, but there's also a sense of honor with the card. And then Fehu in the 4th position. Fehu is prosperity. The story behind that is Ymir, the giant. He was trapped in ice, and Adumla, the cosmic cow, basically licked the ice off of his body, and he was able to be free. And then she nursed him with her milk. And so there's a lot of energy that charges Fehu. Back in the day, it meant movable wealth. You know, you had a lot of cattle and whatnot. So for prosperity, it's actually in the position of the end result. Now, oftentimes I'll get Ymir, the giant, in various stages of being frozen in ice. Sometimes he's still encased. Sometimes I'll see Adumla. I think I'm mispronouncing that name, but I'll see the cow licking him out of the ice. And, it could be a sense of freedom, change, transition. The last card is Lagus. Now that literally means water. It could relate to a lake or an ocean. It also is representative of these twins. Forget their names offhand, but it means safe harbors. So
Mm,
safety, and it also means spiritual love. And a lot of people, when they draw this, it means self-love.
mm,
So I just want to give an overview of the cards real quick before I read them.
mhm. It's
So
very, very fascinating. Just, I always, how many ruins are there? If we could just pause.
24 in the Elder Futhark.
Okay.
Now there's the Younger Futhark, which came later. There's the Northumbrian runes. There's the Icelandic runes. Um, I'm not going to get into the Armanon runes, which Nazi Germany used, which were basically a distortion of the runes. But as far as I know, just off the top of my head, there's 4 major runes
Okay.
that are used for divination. A lot of people that are into Wicca, they like to use those rune cards or rune stones.
Mhm.
I created these because I couldn't find rune cards anywhere. Everyone was just selling stones, and
Yes.
I just prefer cards myself. I like the feel of them. Um, so the first card, the first position is what's coming in, the energy that's flowing into our sphere, our reality. Evo. So with the energy of the solstice, it feels like it's kind of blocked. There's a blocked
Mhm.
energy that is predominant. It seems to be um, influencing everything right now. So right now we've got a sense of being locked down. It's like nothing's really moving, nothing's changing. People feel stagnant, and there's there's an opportunity here to stop wanting things to happen and
Mm,
to start looking at, okay, what is it that I need to appreciate within myself? What is it that I need to appreciate within my life? So it's asking people, it's asking everyone to start looking within and
mhm,
look at the things that they need to be grateful for rather than expecting everything to be different or trying to get everything to change. And right
mhm,
now the energy is basically getting people to uh, to just settle down
mhm,
and listen, which is very important,
mhm,
and to kind of examine themselves and their attitudes, because there's so much that we do have to be grateful for.
mhm,
And from that gratitude comes generosity naturally.
mm,
So when we tune into that, we get what we're looking for. We tune into the gratitude, and then we get generosity from that. So it's like tapping the well.
mm,
And this is actually the first time I've seen Evo pop up like that as a blockage of that energy. So connecting back to the summer solstice, what's pulling this in and sitting in the position of the magnetic card is Ansu's, which is trials, divine inspiration. So right now, it's the first word I'm getting from this period of time is testing.
mm,
And it's a test in terms of what do we need to get rid of? What do we need to dump out of our lives? And because oftentimes everyone's so hung up on the law of attraction, you can only do that for so much or for so long. Because if you keep attracting, suddenly you become a spiritual hoarder.
mm,
And I'm kind of aligned with the principle of the art of subtraction. If
mm.
you want something new, make space for it. Get rid of
Right,
stuff.
right.
Otherwise, people are just they're trying to fill a hole inside with the law of attraction, and they want more, they want more, they want more. And in reality, because this is something I tell people, you already are everything you came here to be. You just
Mm,
have to get the stuff that isn't out of the way. You have to let that stuff
mm,
go. So subtraction, which kind of goes hand in hand with surrender. And by that, I mean surrendering to the appropriate response,
Mm.
not just surrendering like, oh, I give up. I'm just gonna let the universe take
Right.
care of everything. It's surrendering to the appropriate response, which aligns us with the truth, universal truth, the truth of the moment. What is it that I need to be aligned with? Oh, I need to get rid of stuff.
Mm.
And Ansu's is standing right in the way of generosity.
Okay.
And the sense I'm getting is that people really need to start looking at the things, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Think of those as um, four levels of a building.
Okay.
And you just go through each level and find out, okay, that needs to go, that needs to go. Because whatever needs to go, there we're going to find resistance with it. It's going to be a blockage. And it's important, again, listening to what it is rather than, oh, well, this is what I think it is. This
Mm.
is the way I want to believe it is. And people like to play with truth and they end up getting disappointed. So Ansu's is basically saying, okay, look, you need to start looking at things for what they are and really ask yourselves, like, do I really want that? Oh, wait, no, I don't. So, because a
Mm.
lot of people, they like to tell themselves stuff like, oh, I want that. And then it's like an impulse buy and their instincts are kicking in or their emotions. They buy emotionally or they buy because on a mental level, oh, that'd be a great idea, or they have a romantic concept of it. So when they
Guilty.
turn the question, what's that?
Guilty.
Yeah,
I
I
can
know.
relate. I can
Me too.
relate.
Yeah. What I started learning to ask myself, it's like, okay, is that really what I want? No, it isn't. So now I'm listening to myself. I'm asking myself what it is I really want. And that's teaching people how to treat me. Oftentimes people complain, nobody sees me, nobody listens to me. Well, are you listening to yourself? Are you seeing yourself? Are you acknowledging yourself? We can't accept things. We can't get things that we're not doing for ourselves.
Right.
We have to create
Right.
space for it by embodying the principle of listening,
Yes.
acknowledging, loving. People say, oh, I want love. No, you're not going to get it. Because when someone says they want love, it means they don't have it,
Right.
which also means they don't have it for themselves,
Right.
which is very painful. So they have to find a surrogate. They have to find an external source of that love to fill that void, and then that turns toxic.
Mm.
So Ansu's is basically here to say, okay, this is a test of what you really want, how you really want your life to be. And
Mhm. Mm.
once that space is created, then generosity will be allowed to come in. So that's the magnet card. Now the path to follow, and it's interesting because automatically I'm getting honor off of this card. So it's Raido. And I know there's a lot of rune experts out there. They're gonna say, no, no, it's writing. But there is an aspect to it of honor. And with that, it's honoring your true self, and not telling yourself little lies to get by,
Mm.
or not trying to validate or trying to rationalize, which we have a tendency to do because we want things to
Right.
go a certain way. And
Right.
the thing with truth doesn't care. It is what it is. um Somebody stops loving you. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't want to believe that. Well, the truth is they stopped for whatever reason. That's truth. It hurts, move on. And learn to love yourself in the way that you were looking for them to love you, you know. So honoring your truth. It's very simple, it's very cut and dry. So moving over to the path or the end result, Fehu. Again, I keep getting a sense of stagnation with the summer solstice.
Mm.
And I keep seeing the giant encased in ice, nothing's moving, everything's still. And it's going to be a tough process, and it seems to be linking to Ansus, which is trials, divine inspiration.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a tough solstice
Mm.
for everyone. And at least in terms of the way people were hoping or looking forward to it, the way they wanted the truth to be. But the sense that I'm getting from this is that everything's going to be really in a state of
Mm.
motionlessness.
Mm.
Um, Now, the area of life that's being affected, Lagos, I keep getting safety.
Mm.
So this is really going to challenge people in terms of how they experience safety. Where are they
Mhm.
getting their safety from? And what I like to do is I like to ask people, it's like, how are you defining safety? And I'll have
Mm.
them breathe through what safety is, what
Right.
safety isn't. So you're flipping the
Right.
coin of what that concept is until you get the understanding of, oh, okay, got it. And then you're resonating with the energy of that safety. And
Mhm.
then I have them breathe through um, allowing yourself to be safe, not allowing yourself to be safe, because we're in control of both those aspects. But
Right.
when you filter through those words, those statements in a meditation, you're dissolving through all the layers of emotional attachment in your subconscious, so that when you breathe through them, there's nothing there. If it's
Mm.
on your mind, it's in your way. It's a
Mm.
fixation mentally
Right.
or an emotional attachment. So when you dissolve through the layers of conceptual thoughts, ideas, you get into the understanding and the reality of what those really are.
Mm.
So we move beyond the assumptions and beliefs. So Lagu's safety. This is the critical point. This is what's at the heart of the summer solstice. Because let's face it, we've gone through some really heavy stuff
Right.
regarding our safety, and
Right.
now safety needs to be, and this is linking to Ebo. This needs to be the gift that people give to themselves.
Right. Right.
And through Ansus, it's looking at, okay, what's in the way of my safety? What am I holding on to that's creating the sense of not feeling safe?
Mm.
And these are very deep questions to meditate on and to dissolve our attachments to in order to embody the wisdom of what safety is. Yeah.
As you're bringing that in, I was thinking it was bringing to mind that I feel more safe as a way of being now with
Mhm.
what 20 years ago myself would have said, oh my God, this is totally unsafe. Like root shock, where we're talking about like your ability to feed, clothe, house, shelter yourself. The bottom layer of necessity things is where our safety sense
Mhm.
typically has come from, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm in like that flow state where I just know that no matter what it appears like, I am safe.
Mm.
And so my experience is at a higher frequency. So I can let things go easier. Whereas 20 years ago, I had to hold on to stuff, a house
Yeah.
full of stuff, relationship full of stuff,
Yeah.
life full of stuff, car full of stuff, right?
Yep.
Mind full of stuff, beliefs, all that stuff. So definitely much lighter in the challenge, the very real challenge of economic security, because like the reality of living in the matrix structure, we're never far away from like a
Mhm.
safety prompt experience. It's just a matter of how we choose to experience that interaction with the
Mhm.
external world. And I hear you saying
Yeah.
it's all an inside job.
It is.
Let everything else go. Is safety to derives from within, and from the sense of self.
Everything we have, in a sense, is a reflection of something within ourselves. And when that's taken away, we grieve, not because so much that person's gone or that thing is gone. It's because whatever that represented to us, that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was there to show us is like, this is you. This is a part of you. And when people don't embody that energy of that principle or that concept or that quality, they often lose that person or lose something that represents that. So they have to go find something else to get their fix.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes an addiction, an obsession. They have to be in another relationship. They have to, get a job really fast to fill that void. They can't give themselves 2 weeks to just acclimate and to kind of process and decompress. That's really important to have, is to that decompression between relationships, between jobs, so we can get some perspective and process through any of the lessons that came in. But when we're outsourcing our security, we're in this mad scramble to hold on and to cling and to accumulate. And the interesting thing about life, we're taught to hold on to everything. Hold on to your loved ones, hold on to your stuff. Life is constantly teaching us to let go.
Let go, yeah.
And that, it's a powerful lesson. And that's what we're going through right now. Real security is when you can let go of everything and still feel secure. And that's our challenge right now, from what I'm seeing.
Right. I can definitely receive that in the now moment. It is energetically, I felt the solstice in terms of like a energetic tax. And I know that we've had a new frequency as well with the Schumann just this week, a different vibrational pattern. And what I could see is if the ice is not melting fast, the vibration of the frequency to like crystalline structures may help to free us from some of our trapping that are slowing or perceived to slow our ascension emergence into the new reality.
Well, the position of Raido in the path to follow is just to be honest with yourself, to honor your truth. Don't sugarcoat. And just see things, allow ourselves to see things as they are, which can be uncomfortable sometimes. It can be painful. But the pain of honesty, the pain of truth doesn't last long. The pain of a lie increases exponentially.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, honor your truth.
You have folk in chat from Jessica says, yes, I've been learning to let go. It's true. And Imelda says, hi, Roger.
Hi, Imelda.
Yes. So the lagoos, right? You said?
Lagoos? Yeah.
Lagoos. You said this is a watery energy.
It represents lake. It means lake or water, sometimes ocean. And it refers to, it's connected to these two twins in Norse mythology. I can't remember their names. I think one of them is Njord, but it represents safe harbors. And from that energy, I get security. And it's all to do with inner security. When I was a bouncer in bars, I represented security to a lot of people. But it was a concept, it was an idea that they
Right.
believed in. If something happened to me, there goes their security, literally.
Right.
So we need to tap into our own sense of inner security and not be relying on external
Mhm.
forces to be our
Mhm.
security.
Mhm. You know,
And
when
that's
you talk
powerful.
about that, it seems like those are when massive things come to loosen our grip of those things that we're clinging to. It can be kind of painful or taxing for sure.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about it, it's like a trial by fire, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you're gonna have to let go of it. Just let go,
yeah,
let go. So I could see there being some upheavals and prompts in that
yeah.
let go.
The most direct way to deal with that I found is to meditate through the statement of, let's say, being afraid of letting go of my work. Because if that energy is stored in my subconscious anywhere, it's going to affect the conscious mind, and it's going to affect my life and my decisions. And every decision I make is going to be based upon this fear of losing my work.
Mhm.
So let's say I have that fear of work. It's like, okay, breathe through the statement, what I'm afraid of losing, and then breathe through not being afraid of losing it. So again, that's the coin. You're flipping it, you're seeing both sides of the coin, the
Mhm.
positive, the negative, the yin, the yang, the light and the dark. And now you've become a master of both.
Mhm.
You're not one or the other, you're centered, you're cradled in the balance.
Mhm.
And then you get that feeling of security. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Right. Well, that's the 0 point, right?
Yeah.
Of you've let everything go and you're being where you are
Mm,
with nimbleness and potential
yeah.
as a persistent state.
Yeah. And then you're not concerned about what's going to happen because you're perfectly centered and balanced in the moment of the here and now. And you're not panicking, you're not anxious, you're not thinking about what's going to happen or what might happen. You're just in that moment.
Mhm. And gratitude infuses that moment, then that's
Yeah.
like the magic equation, right?
Well, I mean, it's one of them for sure.
Mhm.
I would say grounding is the most essential because that's the roots of the tree. And when we have deep roots in the earth of the past, then we're solid. But when we have things in our past that are serving as obstacles, our roots can't go into that earth.
Mhm.
So we have to heal the past in order to ground deeper. That's why
Mhm.
a lot of people that have a lot of pain in their life, a lot of trauma, tragedy, they're not grounded. It's because energetically, emotionally, their roots aren't going deep enough.
Mhm.
They're always on the surface, and whatever happens, it just takes them off, wherever. But when they have strong roots, the tree is solid no matter how strong the storm is. And that comes through healing the past, resolving the past, looking at the things that we don't want to look at, letting go of
Mhm.
the things we don't want to let go of.
Mhm.
And then we're grounded. And from that grounding comes everything that we need. There's appreciation, there's gratitude, there's love, there's understanding, you know.
Mhm.
But above all, you just want this sense of calm and being, um, the Zen mind, in a sense, where no
Right.
thing is on your mind. You're just in the moment and responding to each situation as it's required.
Right. That really does shift though the experience. If you can, the more you can maintain, I think I phase in and out of that exercise like it's an active embodiment of choosing thing to do is to, okay, let go, return, think, be true. You know, it's like a cycle. I'm assuming it gets more fully embodied as you go, you know, but for me, I kind of phase in and out of
It's a constant
consciousness.
state of adjustment. You know, it's like driving a car or steering a ship. You know, it's like you get hit by another wave. It's like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Right.
And it's like, okay, what just got
Find it.
exposed that I need to process or that I need to breathe through or meditate with?
Right.
So it's a constant thing. It's like you don't eat just one meal for your whole life.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you eat
Right.
it, you digest it, it's processed, and then you expel it and you draw those nutrients that you need from it. And then you continue on your day until you need to eat again.
You empty out to receive more. Right.
Yep.
I was guided to pull the sacred geometry uh, deck
Oh, wow.
for our conversation today, because of how our conversation went yesterday. And then my guys were like, yeah, this is the deck you need to use, because I'm assuming it is going to be very activating for you as well. And I would love it. Do you also have your Osho Zen deck?
I don't. I don't have any of my
Okay.
old cards anymore.
That's an old classic. That deck, I
It is.
find, I never purchased it. I found it rather a complex deck at the time when it was out. I was just beginning with Oracle cards, you know,
Okay.
probably you said about 10 years ago, right? Like that's an older
Yeah, it
standard
is.
kind of deck, but it's not tarot.
No, not in the classical sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually bought a second deck. I had my first deck for 13 years. And then I kind of got a feeling, it's like, well, I'm not really feeling the energy of this deck anymore. So I got a second deck and then I lost it. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, there's a nudge. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, I want to see what energetic structure is also then complementing. This is the back of the cards here.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Is that a phoenix?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Oh, well, here we go. I saw it. If I see it, I have to read it, but that was not my intention. So let me give it one more shuffle here. But it's perfect. It's perfect. It's always perfect. I'll have you pick one, two, or three.
Hmm.
Oh, hold on
Three.
a second.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's see here. All right.
It's bouncing between two and three. It's just
Okay, well, I haven't finished shuffling yet. So here we go.
okay.
Let me give it one more. All right. Now,
I keep getting three.
perfect. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll start with three.
Oh wow.
Hold on one second. I need to take care of my chat room. I've got a spammer that
Oh,
likes to show up in my there we go. Now they're hidden. Yeah, they popped in. Usually my moderator takes care of it. So thank you for that pause. It's always interesting. So anyway, this is what you picked,
yep.
which is, of course, the Flower of Life Cocoon stage and card number 13, having to do with creation.
Mm, interesting.
Interesting, right? I love it. Again, like the cocoon stage, like when you talk about being in the midst of the chaotic transformation, the
Mm.
dissolving of the previous form to the, sorry, they're back again.
Oh, they need the attention.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, hey, moderator, if you can take care of that, thank you. My moderator just popped in right on time. She must have felt the vibration. So I'm going to leave that to her. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see, it says, letting us know that you are in the stage of gestation. You have been working hard towards something, whether it be in matters of finances, business, family, or personal. It's not long now until the ideas and concepts will birth into this world. You're working busily behind the scenes, and the knowledge and work that will be born are still in secrecy. It is also an emblem representing pregnancy. It says, I have what it takes to birth my ideas and concepts and make them my reality. That is pretty cool. And it says, when the time is right, you will shed the outer layers and give birth to a much awaited opportunity where all will be revealed. Don't give up now, even if you are feeling strained and struggling to see the bigger picture. You have worked hard on your project in a short time. You'll see the delivery of the fruits of your labor. You should be very proud of yourself and your accomplishments. And it's interesting because the crystal suggestion is merlinite, and labradorite. So very interesting that merlinite has come in again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep getting
And
a
of
lot of
course,
healing off of that card.
yes. Well, the
Yeah.
flower of life is just such a beautiful, I mean, it's one of the, that's why I love this deck, because it's working with major symbols and major
Mm,
energies, the persistence of this structure and the expansion of consciousness when you take off the borders.
hmm.
You know, when you dissolve the frames, then that flower of life expands into the infiniteness, right?
Mm. Yep.
And of course, the phoenix
Oh yeah. Birth
transformation
regeneration.
as well.
Yeah, I keep getting
Yes.
the word healing coming off of that, and
Mm,
I keep seeing the first chakra being worked on. So the
that's
physical
it.
energy, the material, sexual energy as well, but anything relating to material aspects of life. That's really intense.
It is. It's great. Well, the one that came out that I saw is perfect. A, because I was listening to a meditation just this afternoon that was whale sounds.
Oh wow.
This
Awakening.
is card 0.
Okay.
This is, well, first of all, I was just sharing with somebody who did not know about the whales and Star Trek,
Oh
and, you
yeah.
know, the planetary seeding of whale consciousness.
Mm,
And there's a beautiful book that was channeled in by a group of women over in Hungary called The Stellar Nations.
mm,
And they brought in all this guidance about like the galactic journey of the soul through all of these stargates and portals. And there is a stellar nation of the whale consciousness. I haven't made it to that chapter yet, right? But
wow.
I know that it's talking about like the DNA and the structural harmonics in the water of the
Hmm.
planet is what the whale's job kind of was to do as
Yeah.
well. And you know, Akashic records and conscious evolution. Your thing is accelerated consciousness. I mean, we've got this purple crown chakra.
Yep.
We've got synapses firing. We've got like cellular structures or
Hmm.
material, right?
Yeah.
So what are you getting with this?
It keeps tapping into like DNA, and
Mm-hmm.
it's touching on the flower of life card. The energy I'm getting from that is that physical healing, the material healing.
Mm-hmm.
And for when that heals completely, then our DNA can transform and go to a higher vibration of
Right.
expression. And the
Right.
whales, they represent memory. They're like the elephants of the sea, and they're the record keepers. They sing the songs, and
Yes.
they're very powerful beings.
Yes. And I know you work with animal energies in your, excuse me, I'm getting a really allergy thing here in my eye. you work with animal energies as well in your healing work. So I love that that energy came in, excuse me, came in for the reading today through an animal ally as well. Oh my goodness.
Are you okay there?
Yeah, my eye just all of a sudden started just terribly itching. You know, I do all my little protections and stuff before these little sessions and stuff because people send all kind of energy your way. But I have a nice circle of people to hold space for that. So, but it says the greatest teacher is my soul. I am awakening and experiencing my soul communicating with me now in all that I do. That's what you talked about, like asking a question.
Yeah.
And waiting for the answer truth, not the mind, right? To bring it forward to you.
Yeah.
It says, we are experiencing conscious evolution. You're vibrating at higher frequencies than ever before. You're awakening and attuning to your soul's calling as you walk your path in this physical lifetime. Time seems to move faster as these resonant shifts occur. Your conscious awareness of all life experiences increases, and you receive new information from high vibrational realms that require processing and assimilation. Pay strong attention to your dreams and to your waking moments as the universe is giving you messages. This may manifest as deja vu, repetitive or palindromic numbers, a feeling or thought, a smell, or even a touch. Okay, so that is on point as well, because we were just talking about you yesterday in your dream conversation and how you received messages and came to trust those inner visions that were presented to you.
Yeah.
It's all in alignment with that as well. Now it says here, if the brain is the radio's receiver, then the heart is the dial tuning the radio to the frequency of your choice. Nassim Haramein, and you know, he's the resonance guy. He's a science person who talks about the God frequency. And he's been out on YouTube for years. His name is Nassim Haramein. And if you'll put that in the chat, moderator, that would be great. I love his teachings, like some of the foundational principles of vibration and number that are held through Fibonacci and the golden ratio and back to like the 144 numerology and all of that sacredness there. So it says to activate our light codes within our DNA, it is important first and foremost to come from a place of love. Cultivating this for most of us is a lifelong process along our journey. Open your heart and still your mind. Meditation, sound, integrated healing, complementary therapies, crystals, herbs, healthful eating, and exercise all play a role in the inevitable vibrational shifts we are experiencing. Journal your dreams, as our subconscious mind is a treasure trove of important information. As our frequency increases, our light codes are activated. As we become more consciously aware, our gifts and ancient knowledge stir and become increasingly apparent. The awakening process, once aroused, is a lifelong journey. It is what helps us through this lifetime as a soul experiencing a physical reality. Awakening is a sacred card. When this is drawn, pull another to place next to it. Whatever the card is that you draw is suggested that you focus on now. So we got this card. So focusing on the flower of life, right? Nice. To bring in the activation, the code, to have the conversation. You know, yes.
It's
That's so
interesting that.
perfect because you're talking yesterday about teaching meditation, teaching integrated modalities, working with people in a way to help them go to those points, to those blocks, to look through the consciousness structure, to
Mhm.
have the conversations so that you're aligned differently. I mean, this is definitely supportive. And of course, it's Larimar, Herkimer diamond, apophyllite, clear quartz, and the animal is the whale, also owl, wolf, and snake medicine.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
owl and wolf and snake medicine. So yes, sorry, they're asking for the name of Nassim again. Let me type that. There we go. Thank you, everyone. So that is beautiful addition to our message.
Mm.
And if you would pull a last card for us from, do you have any other decks or any other?
Let me do the I'll pull one from the elemental meditation deck.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
this is one of them.
You
Honor.
put me on your list when you get ready to reprint those, please.
Yeah, I will. Definitely. Um
I'll be the first order.
yeah, I need to set aside some extra cash to do that. I keep forgetting. But
It is a big deal. Like the whole thing of, this is a deck that I got in Sedona that John Mosley
okay.
did,
Oh, wow.
John Mosley. It's like a very thick box. It's like a thick box, but I also got like the Vortexations deck, which is a little tiny, softer card stock. It's definitely clearly printed differently, like local printer. It does matter, and the investment to really get a good card deck with the
Mm-hmm.
real printer is
Yeah.
no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. So uh so this is metal.
Mm,
Pull that out a little bit.
okay.
And it's ritual.
Mm,
So it's following the steps. Now, ritual, I don't have meanings for these cards. I want people to connect to them on an intuitive level, so that they're not relying on me to tell them what the card means. I want people to find out what that card means to them in that
mm-hmm,
moment.
mm-hmm.
Ritual. Now, do you want me to connect to just the energy of the solstice?
Or whatever you bring in this is
Okay.
spiritual conversation.
So what I'm seeing is the world right now. Um, and it still seems to be stuck, rooted in the past. So what I'm getting from this card is like it's a repeat cycle over and over and over, like a ritual.
Mm,
And this is the process that we're still in the midst of. We're still going through these rituals. We're still going through these cycles. And do you mind if I pull one more card just to kind of.
absolutely. We're all in the flow.
Okay, so this is acknowledge. This is also metal.
Mm, okay.
So it's the light that's surrounded by these metallic thorns.
Mm,
And the acknowledge is to acknowledge the light within, beyond all this stuff around here. That's
mm-hmm,
the sense of the card.
mm-hmm,
Um, so again, it seems to be going back to these truths that need to be acknowledged.
mm-hmm,
And these are hard, sharp truths.
mm-hmm,
They're painful truths. And what we've been holding on to throughout our lives, these needs to have something external to guide us, something external to maintain our sense of safety or a sense of identity. We've created a rut for ourselves, and energetically as a species. And with the acknowledge card, it's time for that to end. It's time to bring all that to an end, to start a new life, the dawning of a new day, in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
the growth and development for the human species. And it's important to be okay with the pain,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And what happens is that we get so used to something in our lives that it grows roots within us. And then when it's torn out, or when we pull it out, it's painful, because so much of our identity, so much of the sense of ourselves has grown accustomed to that being a part of our identity.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, it's not. Nothing that is truly ours can ever be really taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Even when
Mm-hmm.
we lose a loved one, they're still around us. They're still with us. We just can't hold them. We can't hug them. We can't take them to dinner, but they're always with us, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw this firsthand after my mom died. I had dreams, and she was like there just talking to me, like we were, like she was still there.
Mm-hmm.
And I still get a sense of her, and I still get a sense of my dad. I can see where they're at energetically. And but the reality is that we're connected to everything. We
Mm-hmm.
can never really lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the trap that we find ourselves in. We get stuck. We become afraid. It's like, oh, if I
Right.
lose that, I'll become less of a person. It's like, no, you'll actually become more.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Subtraction again, right?
yeah, it always comes back to subtraction. And with acknowledge, I'm also, let's see, acknowledging the importance of ourselves. So each
Mm-hmm.
individual, each person needs to acknowledge themselves as being important, that they really matter. Because when we lose that sense of self, we lose the drive to do anything. We become
Mm-hmm.
apathetic. It's like, what does it matter? You know,
Mm-hmm.
what difference is it going to make if I do this? The thing is, everything we do in life has an effect on somebody,
Yeah.
and that shifts their energy ever so slightly. And now they're vibrating on a higher level. Their frequency increases,
Mm-hmm.
and people experience that. It's like, there's something different about you today. It's like, yeah, I just feel really good. And it's just that one shift, that one moment of doing something that changes the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be so powerful. It's subtle, so we think, oh, what difference is it going to make? But imagine everybody on this planet is an acupuncture needle.
Mm-hmm.
Each needle is
Mm-hmm.
resonating with a specific frequency. Could be love, could be understanding, could be comfort, could be happiness, joy, compassion. And every time that person, that individual, raises their vibration ever so slightly, that acupuncture needle that is
Mm-hmm.
embedded in the body of the earth
Mm-hmm.
sends out that charge.
Mm-hmm.
And like trees in a forest, one tree experiences something, and then its roots send out the energy, the
Right.
charge of that experience to all the other trees. Now you've
Right.
got a whole forest of trees resonating with that new energy. Each person is like that, is like a tree, like an acupuncture needle. And
That's a
that's what it
beautiful
means.
analogy.
Yeah, but it's so powerful.
It is. I mean, but it's also, if you know that your needle is bringing depression,
Yes.
anger,
Yeah. that's going into the body of the earth.
Fear.
Yeah.
We're still conduits,
Mm-hmm.
but we're a conscious conduit then, because you're the first experiencer of the energy. It doesn't bypass you on its way into the structure. It is you. So like the inside job says that I want to feel the love first that is transmitting through me and amplifying rather than feeling the anger, and certainly we see the boundary and the protection against the frequencies of the whole structure
Mm.
that, we're tuned into.
Yeah.
When the ripples of fear or a lack consciousness wave or something rolls through the vibration because there's been a tipping point of preponderance of the acupuncture needles
Mm-hmm.
accumulating that, uh, being aware and being able to navigate and not be overwhelmed or infected to where your frequency is then lowered to match, say, something that's coming through very strongly, very close to you energetically. The vibrational transference of those needles, if they hit a nerve, that's what they do, is they either disrupt or align the energy flow on those meridians of the body, the energy body. So there are certainly forces that are poking needles in antithesis into the body corporate, trying to prime energy waves to send back to us that are not necessarily the highest loving frequency possible,
Yeah.
Those acupuncture needles, we're talking about the finest of structure, but it has such a huge, it can absolutely, one poke can realign an entire body when done skillfully and with the right energy,
Yeah. And for us, it's all about being aware of what we're holding on to. Those thoughts that bounce around in our minds is like, oh, yeah, I probably can't do that. That brings our energy down. And now that energy is being transferred into the earth, whatever city we're living in. It's affecting the city. It's affecting people around us, whether we realize it or not, whether they're aware of it or not. The energy is still going out.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into a room and you can change the energy of that room. It's like, oh, wow, Joelle just walked in. Everyone brightens.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone walks in and they're just depressed.
Yeah.
Everyone feels it. The vibe of the room just drops.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this heaviness that people feel. It's like, what was that? What happened? Who killed the mood?
Mm-hmm.
It's one person can make that kind of change, make that kind of difference. It's an opportunity for everyone on this planet to recognize the difference that they can make just by resolving something in their mind that's affecting them.
I was just seeing like each of these intersections in the flower of life, like these are our node points where we're sitting here and you're sitting there. And you know what I'm saying? This is the creation connection structure behind our energy contribution, to the collective.
I did an experiment once. I was working in a bar that had a basement, and the basement had probably the densest energy. It was dimly lit, and I hated being in there because it just felt oppressive. And a group of people came in, and they had a really dark energy around them, very negative. There was some violent tendency in there. They kind of had that gangster vibe. So I just watched them for a while. They were just doing their own thing, but I just kept feeling that vibration, like, man, it's getting stronger. So I just imagined pink light all around these guys. And these guys are like these tough macho guys. I'm like, okay, how are they going to deal with pink energy? So I just focused on fluffy pink energy around them. Also, they started looking around and they all got up and left. It was like, ah. So we
Right,
can make a difference. We can, it's just the less stuff we have in the way, the more clear
right.
we become and the more focused we can be and immerse ourselves in whatever it is that we want to visualize. We
Mhm.
have to dissolve ourselves into the visual to become what we want, and not just, I'm going to think about it, I'm going to see it in my mind and focus on it. We need to become it.
Mm,
So it comes from here and radiates out
mhm,
into reality.
mhm, mhm.
And that's the dissolving technique of meditation. You
Yeah.
filter through the attachments,
Mm.
dissolve yourself until you become what you're
That
focused on.
cocoon stage. It says
Yeah.
cocoon stage on here, the state of dissolution, so
Mm.
that you can be the maximum reconstitution.
It's
The maximum.
it's interesting that that card is 13, because when you look at the Rider Waite deck,
This.
death is the 13th card. But
Mm-hmm,
what death represents is change and transformation.
mm-hmm.
You know,
As is,
the Phoenix.
yeah.
Yep. Everything's connecting.
Yeah, it all is. Well, we could keep on talking, but the hour grows late here for me. And
Okay.
I really appreciate your channeling in the conversation. I'll definitely be watching the replay as well, but it was very timely. And I love that you brought in the divination cards that you created and brought in knowledge about a particular cultural perspective in your divination as well. And anyone who is looking to go into Sedona, please check out Soulstone Vibrations, check out Roger and Vivian, have a reading, do some classes, do some shopping. I look forward to seeing you all on my next visit. That was my little exploratory run out there. I'm going to be bringing a tour or a retreat group out. So
Nice.
definitely will be introducing you to more people on my next visit there.
Thanks,
So,
Joel.
and I'll put Roger's contact information in the description. I think it might already be there. So if you want a reading, please do check him out. I know my reading with you was very on point and thoughtful. And I appreciate you being here this evening.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks for having me on. Just to let people know out there, because we're on Facebook and Instagram, if they need to contact us, they can find our number on Google through Soulstone Vibrations in
Mhm,
Sedona, Arizona.
mhm.
And so our number's there. They can always make a call and make an appointment for a reading. I do readings online or over the phone if they can't come to Sedona and get one in person. So,
I will add your number to there. I put your website in the notes, but I'll add the store number as well too. And I'll change the email as well to the
okay.
at Gmail for
All
your
right.
best way to reach out with you. So
Thanks,
thank
Joel.
you so much. I appreciate you. And I look forward to you coming back again. Just let me know whenever you're ready. I try to come on at least once a week. I'm
Okay.
going to be talking with some deck creators. And then, of course, I'm just generally, I've got so many decks that I need to show people that, that I love working with, just like this sacred geometry, oracle. These aren't everyday cards. These are things that I kind of go in when I want to do deep work. So it was a great opportunity to do that through our conversation this evening as well. So
All right.
thank you, Radisher. All of you, namaste. Thank you, moderator, and all the Good Vibe tribe who showed up and continue to show up each week. Thank you for sharing this moment of being in the cards. All right. Namaste.